It's time to introduce you to my new best friend. Meet Spanky. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank you so much for all of your really kind messages. It's been really moving and on the verge of overwhelming. I just don't know what to say. You're a really lovely bunch of people. Thank you so much. So what I thought I'd do is do a hybrid mash-up, crammed together of both a Modular Monday and a piano book, so there's something for all the family, from nerdy bleep bloops to a Kontakt tutorial, highlights, lots of news, etc, etc. Stick around to the end, because this month's demos have been sublime. Thank you so much for your submissions. Do keep them coming. And we're gonna give some special gifts out to a few of you for the really truly remarkable demos that you have done. So stick around till the end for that. But first, Spanky. My, hasn't Frank grown? So many new goodies to show you. But I don't know about you, I need cheering up. So there's only one thing for it. Spanky by Error Instruments, a digital circuit-bent drum machine sequencer thingy. So let's actually work from the bottom up. So when you power up, you'll see by these lights along the bottom of these 6 outputs, there's a clock divider. And you use these to either clock other devices or the Spanky itself. You can control the independent tempo with this, and you can also get it to sync to the clock in. I'll talk about that in a moment. Let's get an output set up. Now you have 2 triggers, R and D. R stands for round, D stands for distort. Now, for some reason, on my unit, the distortion button doesn't work. I'm not really that bothered. I'm not going to send it back because I've listened to the distortion this thing produces, and whilst it's very clever how it produces that, I've got better distortion units to put it through. And you'll see we have a sound control here, which changes the shape of the glitching waveforms. Now, if things get crazy, you've got this reset button here, which is also great for doing like a hard trigger in time with, say, another instrument. This is in drum mode. There's also a noise mode. You can control the pitch. And the decay with these knobs. But also through the CV-ins, either from the Spanky itself or indeed LFOs that you may have in your rack. So let's have a bit more fun and put some of these other divisions into the other trigger, and then use another division to oscillate the pitch. So you can hear that's very quick, a little bit slower. Interesting rhythm there. Let's take it slower still. And to really mix things up, we'll now connect decay input. Okay, so let's send it some external clock. Now, you may be able to help me with this, but I'm sending it a very fast clock at 120 BPM, and this is how it responds. Let me dial up the clock to 240. It feels to me like I've got to subdivide a clock out from a sequencer by 2 degrees of magnitude. I don't know if any of you could explain why this is. Finally, a noise output here, which sounds kind of like this. I found kind of an interesting way of jamming with Spanky live to create this kind of rhythm. Okay, time to make some Spankies. We'll be back in the shed in a minute to go and have a look at how to use the Kontakt time machine. That means that we can use these loops at any tempo. But first, this month's first brilliant piano book highlight. First up this month, On the Telly by Brendan Bonsack. And Brendan, if you don't mind me saying, I think that this is your best submission so far. It's
an amazing pack. One of my favourite guitar sounds of all time. So it's a 1960s Telecaster electric guitar with a built-in tremolo and a simple legato via key switches. This is not one for the shredder. Think more mellow and spacious. So let's have a look and listen. So, just a beautiful tone. Brendan, are you a guitarist? Because this feels like a library that's been made by a guitarist. Anyone guess what I'm quoting? Well, not quoting, homaging. Now, I clicked on this, and this is very handy. Use the mod wheel to control background, reverse, and delay effects. So let's have a go at that. And we've got saturation.
Right, in other news, there's this thing called Discord. I don't know what it is, but Olafur Arnalds has one and is using Pianobook as a resource for it, for some of the composing competitions that he puts on there. And apparently I'm an emoji. I don't know what this means, but check it out in the link down below if you're Discordy. Right, back to the shed to do a bit of post-production on these Spanky loops, get them all stereofied and into Kontakt's time machine.
Okay, so what I'm first going to do is normalise this big file, but I also made a Spanky loop yesterday. Now, these are mono, so I'm going to do a trick to make them stereo. Super stereo, in fact. So I already found the absolute start of the loop. Now I'm going to find the downbeat of bar 5 and trim it to that. Look at that. You can actually see the almost binary or bit level resolution of the circuit bent glitchy sounds. Now I'm going to adjust my sequence so it is exactly the same tempo as the loop using this function. This helps me test the integrity of the loop, but also if I need to do any editing, it makes life a lot easier. So that loops nicely now. What I'm going to do is take the rest of the loop and sling it on another track. Again, as we're at the correct tempo, it makes tidying easier. You'll notice when playing together, no phasing occurs. This is because the circuit bent nature of Spanky makes the timing not sample accurate. So when you pan hard left and right, you get this Haas effect, which makes it sound super wide. Okay, let's bounce that down, dump it into Kontakt. Now in Wave Editor, you'll see there's a tab called Sync Slice, which has very cleverly analysed your loop, has nailed the tempo and the number of bars. You can, of course, alter this manually along with the little sectors that it's detected. Okay, there's two ways of getting Kontakt to track your host tempo. So let's try using Time Machine Pro. And let's alter the tempos. And listen to what's happening here. What it's doing is time stretching the different sectors or beats, which I'm not sure suits this kind of beat. So switching to Beat Machine, you'll hear it triggers each sector as expected, but doesn't change the character of the sound. And that's it, your loop's tracking to your host tempo. Okay, so now I've got to get to work making this pack of Spankies.
But first, our second highlight.
If any of you are wondering where I've purchased these very handsome t-shirts for, they're actually merch to a company I'm going to do a mad nepotistic plug now. My wife's new album. Now, I don't know about you, but I can't even look at the news at the moment. This album is an antidote to all of the hell that surrounds us at the moment. And whilst it does have gorgeous themes of loss and heartbreak, it is also a positive album about entanglement, beautifully recorded at Castle Sound Studios. Chief engineer, mixer and co-producer was just the seminal Fiona Cruikshank. I don't know if you've seen my Fly on the Wall orchestral film. That same lady, amazing talent. And it's an all-female cast, it's an all-female band And just a really, really wonderful album. I mean, obviously, I'm an incredibly proud husband, but it really is it's a tonic. So check out the album, linked below, and it's available on all your favourite streaming services, and also merch, which is also linked below. Right, plug over. Next up, Balloon Symphony Swells by Joshua Meltzer. We love Joshua Meltzer. He's such a prolific contributor to Pianobook. I recorded the sound of squeezing air from a balloon, 7 notes of a major scale. Yes, you can auto-tune just about anything. I time-stretched some of the notes and processed it with granular effects, filtering, and an eventide black hole verb. Let's have a listen. So beautiful, Joshua. What I really love about this sound is it's not full bandwidth. This will go so well over the top of some really rich strings or a rich warmer pad. It doesn't always have to take up the full bandwidth, the full spectrograph, if you will.
Another exciting development is our good friend and Pianobook volunteer Joe Ranger is having some fun and games over at Artemis. She may just have given us a little taster for Pianobook.
Perseverance is science in the making. The latest sample library from Joe Ranger through Audio Artemis. Perseverance has been forged by the actual sounds of NASA's newest rover by the same name and the desolate Martian landscape. Perseverance is perfect for moments of unease, tension, and to give your score a wild, futuristic feel. But don't despair. Even though it's only $4.99, you can give it a go on Pianobook. Joe's been so kind to do us a light version. But also check out our very own Stephen Talamy's walkthrough and a couple of great demos.
I'm really hoping that Pianobook is used by small developers as a means of promoting larger sample libraries, little tasters for us to try. Okay, let's pop back to the shed to look at our third highlight.
Last, but very much not least, Pink Harmonics by George Shvedov. This instrument was designed to travel through the space-time continuum. The warp drive is very simple to use. MIDI CC1, modulation wheel, warp space. MIDI CC11, expression wheel, warps time. Welcome to hyperspace. Have a nice warp journey. Will do. Let's have a check out of this. So actually, to be honest, I played this without using the wiggle woggles, so this is going to be very interesting. So let's have a look at this. Wow. And then expression. What? I don't know. I don't understand how you've done that. I'm sure a lot of Kontakt enthusiasts are going to be downloading this and checking out all of your shenanigans. I'll tell you something I did do, which I thought was nice, is the attack is, as you'd expect, heavy. And it's quite fun just to roll this back a bit, because what it does is it brings out the sustain a bit more and just softens the attack.
Thank you for all of your submissions this month. We'd like to provide a gift for these 3 highlights this month. The Jangle Box Piano recorded at Abbey Road Studios. I have to say, next month, the submissions are just mind-blowing. So do subscribe if you haven't done already and ding the bell to be notified the next time I put a video up. Right.
Time to get the Spankies out. You'll see here that created a bunch of loops. They all start on C3, go up the white notes. And the only other thing that I did was I also looped them, so they just carry on going. So we've got a real selection. Some really wild stuff. But my favourite has to be something so kind of THX 1138 about that. And some of these clicks, you may get in trouble with your TV engineers, the people who sign off on productions, because it sounds almost wrong and they don't like the idea of people getting up out of their lazy boy seats and hitting their sets on the side. So I think a way around that is actually a bit of distortion, and it just kind of softens the binary nature of the circuit bend. But this also sounds amazing. Let's put an octave underneath. And I'm going to add, for good measure, sub bass to give us another octave underneath that. Someone's a bit angry. Now, these are all around the 100 and kind of 105 mark. So what I would recommend is use fast Spankies for stuff above 100, and below that use slow Spankies, which, as we know, when it uses its kind of time machine stuff, it doesn't sound very good when you slow it down. So let's say put these down to 90 and have a listen to a couple of these. Let's hear that with our friendly distortion and pitchy stuff. So available to download for free from pianobook.co.uk, and can't wait to hear what you do with them. Right, last but not least, the music that has been accompanying this show has been our favourite submissions of the month, and it's been just a truly excellent month. Thank you so much for your wonderful work. I do hope we can all do something with this music soon. There's been some bandwidth issues at Spitfire since the lockdown, which has meant we haven't been able to push this library idea forward, but I really am pressuring the C-suite into doing something with you all. There's going to be a copy of Jangle Box Piano, again recorded at Abbey Road Studios, winging its way to these 5 composers for these 5 truly excellent compositions. Keep up the great work, and thanks for all of your contributions to this website, and again, all of your kind words to my family. See you next week, one of those for all of these amazing contributions, and again, do remember to subscribe and ding that bell. See you soon.